Okay, so to use this machine we have both in the Tampa and in the Newport Richey office. And personally, I like this machine the best out of all of them. But the first step is you want to turn it on, and it's behind the machine, right next to the plug. So you're just going to turn it on, it's going to beep, and then you're going to see this screen right here. You can come over here and zoom in. So it's just going to be blank, say Drufomat Scan, which is the name of the machine. And then on the wall in every office, we have times for each retainer. So for a medium night guard, you're going to select 115/30. And then for a regular normal clear Essex, it's 125/30. So to select, you're just gonna push an arrow. And so 115/30, this would be for a medium night guard. And then for 125/30, this would be for a normal clear Essex. What you want to do is you want to turn it on, and the on button is on the side of the machine right here if you want to kind of comb in there. Perfect. So we're just going to turn it on, and you'll see the wheel start to spin, but before you start grinding down the model, you want to turn the water on. So you're going to turn counterclockwise, and you'll hear the water come on. And you don't want it like squirting out water, but just enough to coat the wheel. And what you want to do is you want to start with the back teeth. So here with this model, I don't want to shave too much down because we still want half of the 7s for the retainer. I'm just going to shave a little bit down, just like that. Normally you'll have to do a little bit more. And then we're going to shave the sides. And you want to be very careful not to hit the actual teeth. So you get as close as you can, but we'll polish it off a little bit. And then we'll do the bottom. Just enough so that it lies flat and perfectly when it's sitting down. And then for this part, what you want to do is you put a finger behind to stabilize it, and very carefully just trim off the excess. So you want to be very careful because it does catch on the wheel and you don't want to shave the teeth off. So just very gently. Turn off the machine when you're done. Turn the knob of the water clockwise to stop the water, and then I'm just gonna rinse out all the excess stone, and we want to dry it off with some air. Finished model to look like. So you want it to be flat on the bottom, so when it sits on the machine it's nice and flat. You don't want any like stone jutting out in front of the teeth, so that when the plastic sucks down, it sucks down nice and tight on the teeth. And it's fine if you don't get this part out, especially if you use the red machine, which is the Drufomat Scan, because since the suction is all around, you don't need the hole underneath, like in the Clearwater office for the different retainer machine. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. And for this patient specifically, because she has a permanent retainer on the back, we're just gonna add some block out underneath the permanent retainer, so that way she doesn't break that permanent retainer when she takes it off. Okay.
All right, let's see her do that block out.
So for the block out, we're just gonna use our block out resin here, and we're just gonna apply a little bit underneath. Okay, and so that should be good. We don't have to do too much, just enough so like when the plastic sucks down, it's not sucking down underneath that permanent retainer. And then we'll use the light to cure it. Okay, so that's good. And you'll see how I filled in all the little under space under there, and I didn't go like too crazy because we still want this to be tight on her teeth. Also, we want to make sure before you make the retainer that we pop any little bubbles we see. So, for example, like if you see right here, there's some bubbles, I'm just gonna scrape them off gently so that the retainer looks nice and that it's nice and flush against the teeth. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And any bubbles you see that are not close to the teeth, we don't have to worry about since we'll be trimming that off. And additionally, if you see holes like this, it's okay as long as it's not on the actual teeth. If it's on the teeth, we'll have to fill it in with blockout, but this looks pretty good. And then another thing you have to keep in mind before we make the retainer is that if the patient is especially a little bit older, you'll want to make sure that if the undercuts are very deep, that we fill those in with blockout. She doesn't look too bad here. So it doesn't look like we'll need to block anything out. Okay. And then to use the actual machine, what we'll want to do is I have, again, it's set to 125/30 for a normal Essex. Actually, let's double check. Always double check your little note here, so we'll block out that name. But Essex block out permanent retainer. We'll put our retainer in the middle, and you got to make sure that the front teeth aren't too close to the edge like this, otherwise it'll be deformed. So make sure it's like further back for those front teeth. Then we'll take our 0.4 Essex, which is what we use. It's more flexible than the 0.6. We're going to remove the clear film on both sides. And then we're gonna place it on this platform here, and we're gonna line the two prongs so it fits nicely and it doesn't jiggle. And you just wanna make sure that the actual plastic is on all sides of this and not like off put like this, where you can see that. Obviously it's not, if you wanna zoom in, it's not over here. So just to make sure it's completely covering the circle. And we're gonna push it in until you hear like a little squeak, you'll hear it. So that little squeak, make sure everything's aligned. We'll hit OK once, OK twice, and you'll see this red light and it'll start counting down this timer here. So you'll see it's counting down, and once that hits 0, it's gonna beep. And once it beeps, what we're gonna do, and I'll show you, is we're gonna pull this handle all the way out till we hear a squeak. And at the same time, once it's out, we're gonna push this button on the side right here and hold it until it beeps again. Then we can let go.